Are there any lessons that you wish to unlearn from your grandmother?
Oh, what if she sees this?
I wish to unlearn being judgmental. Yeah.
It's sort of like you keep this together, you work it out. And that's something that I think, for me, doesn't necessarily work for me.
She takes care of everybody. And that's kind of like a thankless job sometimes, but she still does it.
Observing over time women that you love and respect and that made you, swallowing their voice or silencing their voice or allowing themselves to be diminished by the other people in the room. Like when you see people shrink, I think it has an effect.
That selflessness, because sometimes you gotta take care of you first, like it's that whole like airplane oxygen mask, you gotta put on your oxygen mask before you put on anybody else's.
And like how, like when I came in the house, my grandma was like, your hair. And it's like, although like I hate when she does it to me, like I find myself doing it. And I was like, dang, it done seeped in. You know, that sort of thing. It was a big issue about my weight growing up and being heavy set. And when I got to Howard, it's just like a different standard of beauty. It was like definitely be healthy, but don't shame yourself for the way you look. Like if you have curve, you have curve. Like love it. And so like I wish I could unlearn judgment.
That I am a person that needs to talk about my emotions. That I am a person that needs to let it out. I can't, I'm not that person that can just sort of bottle things and move on. And I think that I've had to sort of unlearn that and give myself permission to be where I'm at and to process my emotions in a way that's healthy for me to do.
Because, ultimately, I have to make me happy first before I can really, take care of others, even though I may want to, so.
As much as I can be, on stage, center stage, there are many ways that I am starting to see where I have allowed myself to shrink or where I've allowed myself to be silenced. And that is something that I'm always trying to unlearn.
I think something really important that a woman should know is to really indulge in self-love before you need to indulge in self-love.
You really have to focus on your life sometimes, because we can get so caught up in other people's business and other people's social media posts. You'll find yourself scrolling all day long and you haven't accomplished anything for yourself. But really just that calm, waking up every day and, I am who I am. I'm Charisma Sweat Green. You know what I'm saying? I know who I am. I know what's mine. I'm good. I can block all that other stuff out. Doesn't even matter.
Your goals and what you want to do are so important, and you have to protect those things fiercely, And I think, I was dating, I was in little relationships, and I always was this independent thinking woman. You would never be concerned about me in terms of, are her priorities off? But my priorities were actually off, and I didn't even realize it. I think I was very good at holding together not a facade, but, you wouldn't worry about me. But I realized recently, whoa, I put this person ahead of myself for a second.
I think that the thing that has been most useful for me is being the lover that I seek. Which is to say that, I think we get into relationships and find ourselves giving so much of ourselves, and then being really frustrated when that energy is not reciprocated. And when I think of all of the things that I would do to show a lover how much I care for them and how infrequently I will be doing those things for myself. I've had to really transform my thinking about how I invest that energy, and not just in romantic relationships, you know, in all relationships.
Okay, now that we know what that feels like, let's never do that again. Let's forgive ourselves for that. And now let's prioritize ourselves and what we want to do.
It has been a lot of me being really mindful and intentional of making choices that are exemplary of how I would love someone else. And, you know, knowing that I am deserving of that treatment and I can't really wait for someone else to do that. And that if I model that in myself, that, you know, maybe someone will catch on or maybe they won't.
You are as God formed you, and you have to love that before anybody else can.
Or just really make sure that you're doing what's right for you before you go out of your way and do something for someone else. Like, I don't know. Just like love yourself and respect yourself before you do something for someone else, I guess.
Yeah. Same. We think the same. So.
We have twin brain.
What has your grandmother taught you about self-love?
Definitely, in terms of, she taught me about caring for yourself. So, like, I always think that, like, maintenance is a form of self-love. So, like, whether it be clipping your nails, polishing your nails, like, taking that extra step into, like, how you're gonna go out, how you're getting dressed, you know, like, doing your hair, and that sort of thing, like, going that extra mile.
Like I said, you won't see her without her crown. It's just not, it's not an option. So, head held high at all times.
She eats healthy. She keeps it moving. She stays social. She's in a bridge club. And she maintains those commitments with her friends. She's like, sorry, I can't do it. I got bridge next week.
You know, it's at all times. It's in the home. She could be in a bathrobe, and it's like, I am the queen of my domain. You know what I'm saying?
I think that she has never stopped creating beauty for herself. You know, like I showed up here today and I'm like, when did your living room get like this? Like, she's now rehabbed and remodeled this house, and there are like always new details and like pretty things around that I haven't seen before. And that is beautiful to see.
What did you learn from me? What's one thing that you picked up from me that would help you in your life?
I actually picked up a lot from you, Grandma. Like, it's so like you like we butt heads a lot, and like even growing up, like we did butt heads, but like when I went to college and like was out there on my own, like I was always that friend. I was like, guys, I don't think so. Like, I don't think we should do that. Like, this is really messy. Let's like clean this up a bit.
One of the questions that I looked at on that list that I thought was a very good question to answer, and the qualities of a good friend, I believe, first of all, is trust. Can you trust that friend with your deepest thoughts, secrets, issues, and you don't hear it again from somebody who doesn't know you as well as that good friend knows you. That means if you didn't tell it to anyone except that person, guess what?
Nobody else supposed to know.
That's right, nobody else is supposed to know, but then it helps you to decide, well, who told it? You know you didn't tell it to anyone except that person, and so that's one quality. And good friends are hard to find.
Facts.
Do you feel that way?
Yeah.
Good friends are very hard to find.
They always said I was bougie, and I was like, I'm not bougie. I mean, I just like I have a certain standard, You know, like there's a standard or like a way to like hold yourself, and I don't know, like that's just like how like I was just like that's how I was raised.
Michelle Obama just said last night, when they go low, what did you go high? Yeah, when they go low, go high. That way you keep your self-respect and you're viewed as a bigger person. You may not realize it at the moment, but later you will.
Yeah.
Dare to believe that I